There's something powerful about silence, something unshakable about a person who doesn't rush to speak, who doesn't chase attention, who doesn't flinch when others react. People can't always explain it, but they feel it. Your presence, your vibe, your aura, and sometimes it scares them. Not because you're trying to be intimidating, not because you're aggressive or loud, but because you're still, and stillness unnerves the restless. Because you hold a quiet strength, and that shakes those who rely on noise. This kind of presence, anchored in self-awareness, emotional control, and inner discipline, is something Stoicism teaches well. So today, we're going to explore 5 subtle but powerful signs that your aura might be intimidating people without you even realizing it. These signs are not about ego. They're about energy, Stoic energy. Let's break it down. Sign 1. People feel the need to justify themselves around you. Ever notice how people start explaining themselves, even when you haven't asked? You walk into a room, and suddenly someone's oversharing, saying things like, "I meant to do it earlier, but I was so busy. I know I should have done better, but I was just joking. I hope you didn't take it the wrong way." What's really happening? Your energy, calm, grounded, unbothered, is quietly calling out their chaos. Stoicism teaches you to focus on what you control. You don't gossip, you don't react emotionally, and you don't need external validation. But this calmness, it exposes the emotional disorganization in others. And that exposure makes people uncomfortable. They start defending themselves before you even say a word. They feel judged, not because you're judging them, but because they're projecting their own inner noise onto your silence. Stoic takeaway: the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injustice. Marcus Aurelius. Let others squirm. You don't need to correct or confront them. Your self-possession is the mirror. Let it reflect. Sign 2. You don't engage in gossip, and that feels threatening. You're in a group. Someone brings up a juicy piece of gossip. Everyone's laughing. Everyone's in on it. Except you. You're not rude, you're just quiet, neutral, detached. And now people start acting weird. They glance at you like you're the odd one out. They change the subject, or they say, "Relax, it's just a joke." Why does your silence shake them? Because gossip thrives on emotional insecurity. It's fueled by the need to connect through negativity. When you don't feed that fire, people feel exposed. Stoicism teaches virtue over approval. You don't need to bond over someone else's flaws. Your refusal to engage, your stillness, feels like a moral lighthouse in a sea of childish whispers. And people don't always like being seen clearly. Stoic takeaway: if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Marcus Aurelius. Stoicism teaches virtue over approval. You don't need to bond over someone else's flaws. Your refusal to engage, your stillness, feels like a moral lighthouse in a sea of childish whispers. And people don't always like being seen clearly. Stoic takeaway: if it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Marcus Aurelius. People respect you for it, even if they act uncomfortable around you. In time, they'll either rise to your level or walk away. Let both happen. Sign 3. You set boundaries without apology. Here's a powerful Stoic truth: you don't owe anyone access to your peace. And when you act like that, when you set boundaries without over-explaining, it rattles people. You say no without guilt. You excuse yourself from draining conversations. You don't play the game of people-pleasing. Most people are not used to that. They're used to emotional availability being traded for acceptance, but not you. You know how to be kind without being accessible. You know how to be generous without being used. And your refusal to stretch yourself thin is a quiet declaration. I am not desperate for your approval. That scares people. Because your boundaries force them to reflect on their own lack of self-respect. Stoic takeaway: he who is not a slave to the opinion of others is truly free. Epictetus. You don't need to raise your voice to say enough. Your energy says it first, and those who thrive on taking advantage, they'll sense the wall and back off. Sign 4. People mistake your stillness for arrogance. Let's get real. When you're deeply grounded in your values, when you don't react to drama, when you choose calm over chaos, people start labeling you. She thinks she's too good. He's cold. They're not friendly. Why? Because your stillness reveals their need for noise. Your quiet nature forces them to feel their own emptiness. And instead of looking inward, they blame you. It's a defense mechanism. Stoicism doesn't tell you to be emotionless, but it teaches you to be emotionally anchored. You don't overshare. You don't need to be loud. You don't seek validation. You observe more than you speak. You walk with clarity, not confusion. And to the insecure, that confidence without performance feels threatening. Stoic takeaway. Be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. Marcus Aurelius. Let them misunderstand you. Let them feel threatened by what they don't understand. You weren't made to be digestible. You were made to be disciplined. Sign 5. Your standards are intimidating because you actually live them. You don't talk about self-respect. You embody it. You don't shout about loyalty, truth, or boundaries. You just move with those values. You won't tolerate gossip. You don't chase love. You don't need everyone to like you. You don't beg for what you deserve. You're comfortable being misunderstood. You're okay with walking away, and your life isn't ruled by fear of loneliness, loss, or disapproval. You've trained yourself to detach from what you can't control. That's a Stoic superpower, and most people don't know how to handle that level of internal freedom. So they act uncomfortable, because your presence forces them to face their lack of discipline. Stoic takeaway. First, say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Epictetus. Your aura scares people because it reminds them what's possible when a person stops negotiating with their lower self and chooses virtue, clarity, and purpose instead. Why your energy is a threat, and that's okay? Here's the thing. You're not mean, you're not unkind, but your energy is clean, strong, uncompromising. That scares the ones who thrive in chaos, who depend on attention, who fear stillness. You don't need to tone it down to make others comfortable. You've worked hard to reach this space of emotional discipline. You've trained your mind. You've healed. You've let go. You've chosen peace. Let others feel what they feel around you. It's not your job to water yourself down to fit someone's broken cup. How Stoicism helps you maintain your aura without ego. You learn what to ignore. Not every battle is worth your energy. Stoicism teaches you to pick your silence over your pride. You learn to control your emotions without suppressing them. You don't explode, you don't bottle things up, you just process them properly. You learn to detach from outcome. Whether someone likes you or not doesn't affect your mission. You learn to be fully present. Your aura grows powerful when you stop living in fear of the future or shame of the past. You learn that reputation is secondary to character. People may not like your energy, but they'll respect it. And even if they don't, your job is to live with virtue, not perform for applause. Conclusion. Your calm is a storm to the unhealed. When you embody peace, self-control, discipline, and quiet strength, you automatically shake up everything that's loud, fake, insecure, and unstable. Your aura speaks before you do. People feel your confidence, your boundaries, your emotional detachment, and they don't always know what to do with it. Some will admire it, some will avoid it, some will resent it, but none of that matters. Your job isn't to make everyone feel safe around your power. Your job is to master yourself. Stay calm, stay grounded, stay unshakable. That's what real Stoicism is. Subscribe for more Stoic wisdom. If this spoke to you, hit the subscribe button. You'll get more deep, real talk about emotional discipline, attraction, relationships, and power.